Okay, then this is the main entry. This is the main class. So this is the main entry point of the Spring Boot application. Likely annotate with @Spring Boot application. It initializes the Trustly mock service, setting up the application context, configuring beans, and starting the server. And uh, and uh, mm, and this and inferred internal working. This contains the main method to launch the application and may include configuration for logging and for logging using logging database connection or external integration. Could define global exception handling or security configuration. Mm, it serves as the foundation for the entire application orchestration, the payment simulation workflow. Then we will go through the constant.java. Okay, so this is inside the main package of the main inside the payment package, and this package is constant package. Inside the class is constants. So this defines static final variables used throughout the application, such as configuration setting, API endpoints, and error codes. And okay, then we have a controller endpoint.java. So it specifies the mm, REST API endpoint mapping for controllers in the application. And guides the HTTP request routing in the controller package and integrated with HTTP request.java. And then we will see the error code enum. It enumerates error code for different failure scenario in the process, and and inferred and it ensures consistent error handling across the payment package or the response.error package. And then we will see the Favicon controller.java, and this is inside the controller package. So it handles requests for the Favicon, a small icon displayed in the browser tab, and mm, it enhances user experience in the interface, a minor but standard feature in the controller package. Then we will see the payment controller.java. So it manages HTTP requests and responses for payment related operations, and mm, it contains REST endpoints like the post mapping and controller endpoints payment process to handle payment requests, and uses payment service.java to delegate business logic. Example: payment service dot payment process. Then inside that we will pass the request. So and it act as a entry point for external API calls linking uh, uh, com.cpt.payments.http and com.cpt.payment.service. So these for that, and then we will see the Trustly core provider exception handler.java. So this handles exceptions specific to the core provider in the payment process, and internal working is this annotated with at the rate controller advice or exception handler to catch exceptions globally, and it defines methods like exception handler to process error and returns Trustly error response and returns a discounted Java object with error detail from error code enum.java, and ensures robust error management integrated with payment service IMPL.java and JSON utils.java logging. And then the other class is Trustly mock exception. So it defines a custom exception class for the Trustly mock service, and it extends runtime exception. Uh, Example: public class Trustly mock exception extend runtime exception. So and includes a constructor with an error code and a message. May include getter for error details, and used by mm, used by Trustly core provider exception handler class to encapsulate specific failure cases. Then we will see the HTTP. Okay, then we will see the HTTP request. Java manages the construction and execution of HTTP requests, and it contains methods to build HTTP requests and uses HTTP REST template engine.java for execution, or a library like REST template serializes request bodies with JSON utils.serialize method, and facilitates communication with external Trustly API supporting payment controller class. And then we will see the HTTP REST template.engine. So it provides a template engine for RESTful HTTP requests, and it extends or uses Spring's REST templates and includes methods like public string execute and configures headers, timeout or SSL for secure communication, and executes HTTP requests built by HTTP request class integrated with payment service IMPL class, and then attributes.java. So mm It represents attributes data in the payment request and Apojo with fields like private mm, string key and private string value and getter and setter and annotates with JSON property for JSON serialization, deserialization. Example using Jackson and part of request payloads serialized by JSON-utils.java for trustly provided requests class and then the core trustly provider.java. So it models core provider details in the request and contains fields like private string provider ID and a private string name. So with getter and setter and may include validation annotation at the rate and used in a request object processed by payment service class. Then we will see the data not Java. So inside that it holds generic data structure for requests and a generic POJO with map. Sorry, not map. Sorry, not map. Sorry. Ah, generic POJO and support dynamic key value pair for flexibility. And you will see the param.java. So it contains parameter object for request payload and include fields like private string, private double, and any other type of data. And part of request data processed by payment service class. And then we have Trustly notification requests. So it defines the structure of notification request and fields like private string, private string payment ID, private date, and other type of things, and with getter and setter, and annotated for with many things like we don't use getter and setter, we use these type of annotations and used for an asynchronous and used for asynchronous notification handled by payment controller class. And then we have a trustly provider requests. Okay, so what is so event model? It's a model provider specific request data and aggregate fields like then we see response data.java. So it represents generic response data structure and written by payment service IMQ class. Then we have result. So all the result of the payment operation and fields like private string and other and a part of response object in Trustly code response class. Then we have Trustly code response, so it defines the code response for Trustly service. And then we have Trustly provider. So models provider specific response data and includes provider specific fields and response data class and supports signature verification and process by SHA 256 RSA signature verifier class. And then we have error data, so contains error data details and fields like private node and message and these type of. Then we have error details.java, so provide detailed error information fields like this. And nested within error data class and enhance error reporting. It enhances error reporting. Then we have error wrapper.java, and it wraps error data from consistent error responses. Mm, Then we have trustly error response.java. So what it does, define the structure for. It also contains the fields. Then we have what payment. Then we will go through the associated with service. So it verifies signature using SHA 256 with RSA and uses signature class example signature dot get instance and verify signature with JSON utils dot get private key method and ensure data integrity in payment service IMPL class. And then we have a signature creator. So this mm, mm, create digital signature and generate signature using JSON util dot get private key method and signature and signs request data and secures request and trustly provide request class. And then we will see the payment service. Okay, so provides a helper method for payment service operation methods like this. And assist payment service IMPL. So this is the payment service IMPL. And implement the payment service interface and implement payment process with logic process payment with logic for mock payment processing. And integrate SHA-256 as a signature verifier class and SHTP request template engine class and core business logic for payment. Then we will see the JSON utils.java. So handles JSON serialization and private key management. And uh, and handle to data and security operation. And then we have log message.java. So manages logging message for debugging and auditing, uses logger and SLF4J with methods like public static void, mm, these type debug and many type of. And tracks the operations like get private key and many. And support debugging across all the package. And that covers the Trustly mock service structure and file functionalities. Each file contribute to a secure, efficient payment simulation. Thank you for watching. Okay.